What's up, curious readers? I'm Dev from Dev's Books Armies, and today we'll be continuing the Roger Federer story. This video is part 2. If you haven't watched part 1 already, make sure you go ahead and watch that video first so you understand this one better. The link to part 1 is in the description below. Today, in part 2, I'll be talking about Roger Federer's tennis career from his first full year as an ATP professional to his first Grand Slam victory. Now, before we get this video started, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on a single video of mine. Now, I want to give you all some information. ATP is the Association of Tennis Professionals, and Grand Slams are the biggest level tournaments on the tour with the most money, points, and the biggest draw. These are the hardest to win. There are 4 Grand Slams in a year: the Australian Open, the French Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open. 1999 was Roger Federer's first year as a tennis professional. A ranking in the top 120 is usually required to play in ATP events and Grand Slams. Sometimes even top 100 players have to often participate in the qualifying rounds at the 9 Tennis Masters Series tournaments. These are the second most important events below Grand Slams. Usually, young pros play in the satellite circuit and the challengers until their rankings have sufficiently improved to play in the major ATP events. Because Federer directly received wildcards into ATP events, he didn't have to play in the qualifying rounds. He also received wildcards from the Grand Slams like Wimbledon and the French Open, and because of the highly rewarding prize money, Federer won a whopping $20,000 at Paris and Wimbledon alone, even though he lost in the first round at both events. In Roger's first professional year, it became clear that he was most comfortable at indoor events. He played 7 outdoor tournaments, losing in the first round each time. But in Germany, at the Challenger event, he won 6 straight matches, 3 in the qualifying rounds and 3 en route to the semifinals. This placed him in the top 150 of the world. His best victory of his young career came in Marseille, France, when he beat former French Open champion and world number 5 Carlos Moya in the first round. He qualified for the Rotterdam Open, where he led world number 2 before losing. Federer was helping his country in the Davis Cup, and at ATP events, his opponents often complimented him. Federer said he just had to mature to win more titles and matches. He made his main draw debut at the French Open and Wimbledon that year, losing in the first round each time though. Federer was soon ranked in the top 100 and ended his rookie season with a 13 win to 17 loss record, but his leap from number 302 to number 64 in the world and his high prize money was impressive for an 18-year-old. Federer's goals for 2000 were modest. He wanted to break into the top 50 of the world rankings. The year 2000 began greatly for Roger. He won his first match in an ATP outdoor event in the Australian Open, and he went on to the third round before losing. Roger's first ATP final came in Marseille, France, where he faced countryman Marc Rosset. After winning the first set, he still lost to Marc Rosset 2-6, 6-3, 7-6. Despite losing, Federer cracked into the top 50 of the world rankings. Having already achieved his goals for the season, he quickly set his eyes on the top 25. Federer decided to part ways from the Swiss tennis, working with independent coaches. He had deep gratitude toward the Swiss Tennis Federation for making him independent and bringing him to the top 50 of the world rankings. He was now going to work with Peter Lundgren. The beginning of the new partnership came in the middle of the clay court season. At the French Open, Federer finally won a match on clay court and went to the round of 16 for the first time of a Grand Slam, but Roger still lost in the first round of Wimbledon. Federer was now going to the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games. Roger was in a position to be the youngest Olympic gold medalist ever. However, he lost in the match, and he also lost the match for the bronze medal. But he had found himself a girlfriend, Mirka Vavrinek. Mirka had to end her tennis career early because of an injury. At the end of the 2000 season, Federer realized that he needed a fitness trainer, so he got one, Pierre Paganini. Paganini said that he had a 3-year plan to bring Federer to his best physical condition. Federer is not someone who hits 3,000 strokes at a time and feels good. Training has to be fun for Roger. In 2003, Paganini's plane proved to be successful. Roger, in 2003, could reach a max speed of 12 miles per hour, run 3,300 meters in 12 minutes, 9,300 meters in 40 minutes, and he could press 330 pounds while doing knee bends. In 2001, Federer made it to the third round in the Australian Open. Then, he won his first ever title in Milan. He then beat the US in a Davis Cup match and continued to the semis in Marseille, France. He also made it to the finals of the Rotterdam Open and was named Player of the Month for February. Prior to the Wimbledon Championships, Federer had reached the quarterfinals of Monte Carlo and he beat world number 2 en route to the third round of the Italian Open. At the French Open, Federer made his best ever Grand Slam appearance by making it to the quarterfinals. By the time the Wimbledon Championships for 2001 had started, Federer had managed to be ranked number 15 in the world. Roger made it to the round of 16 and was going to play Pete Sampras on the center court. The center court is the best court of the All England Club, which is where Wimbledon is held, and Sampras was the best and hardest opponent Federer could have found. Sampras was the king of grass court tennis, and he was also the king of Wimbledon. Sampras held a 31-match winning streak at Wimbledon, entering the match with Federer. 3 hours and 41 minutes after play began, Federer won the match 7-6, 5-7, 6-4, 6-7, 7-5. After beating Sampras, Federer sadly lost to Henman in the next round. Federer then in Gstaad injured himself and had to rest for 7 weeks. While resting, one of his friends from tennis etudes, Michael Lammer, was also there due to a torn ligament in his leg. Federer became a driver for Lammer, bringing him from one place to another to just pass time for himself. In 2002, Federer lost to Tommy Haas in the round of 16. Federer also lost to David Sanguinetti in the Milan final. In Key Biscayne, Federer beat Hewitt en route to the final, but lost to Andrew Agassi in his first Tennis Masters Series final. In Germany, Federer won his third tournament and his first at a Tennis Masters event. Roger was now part of the top 10 in the world rankings. In Paris at the French Open, Federer lost in the first round in a bitter defeat. He also lost to unknown Croatian teenager Marko Ancic in the first round of Wimbledon. After this, Federer's childhood coach Peter Carter died in a car accident in South Africa. Federer dedicated the next Davis Cup win and his title at Vienna to Peter Carter. Federer managed to qualify for the end of the year Masters Cup, but lost in the semis to Leighton Hewitt. In 2003, Federer wanted to win a Grand Slam finally, but at the Aussie Open, Federer lost to David Nalbandian in the round of 16. Another Grand Slam opportunity was lost. Federer was devastated. Away from the Grand Slam pressures, Federer still flourished. He won 16 of his next 17 matches. He won the 6th and 7th ATP titles in Marseille and Dubai. For the third consecutive year, he was named Player of the Month for February. Federer said that he knows that he has to win a Grand Slam title and he'll work for it. At the French Open, he lost in the first round again. Newspapers started calling him the best player without a major or Grand Slam title. Roger couldn't even defend himself because he was 5 years into his ATP tennis career. He was approaching his 22nd birthday. He has won six career titles. He excelled in play at different stages of the game, but he failed in areas where it's decided if someone is a champion or not. He later learned that a mental block was preventing him from winning a Grand Slam title. 2 weeks after his French Open loss, Federer was back in action. He won the Halle Open, his first title on grass since his junior Wimbledon title. This was Roger's fourth title of the year. Federer was now purely confident about winning Wimbledon. Federer kept a low profile at the grounds of Wimbledon to not get distracted and be relaxed. Thanks to his good preparations, Roger finally entered a Grand Slam with a positive attitude. Federer made it to the round of 16 easily. He was supposed to play Feliciano Lopez, but in the warm-up of the match, Federer's back started hurting badly. He was being treated and he miraculously somehow won the match. Federer was healed after many rain delays for the next few days and won his quarterfinal match. Federer's semifinal match was against Andy Roddick of the United States. Federer won the match 7-6, 6-3, 6-3. He was for the first time in a final of a Grand Slam tournament. The final was entertaining, but in the end, Roger prevailed. He won 7-6, 6-2, 7-6. 7-6. Roger Federer was a Grand Slam champion. He cried way too much because he was very happy. The original Wimbledon trophy is too precious to take home, so that stays at the club, but players are allowed to take home a replica. Alright guys, so that was it for today's video. Make sure you watch part 3 of the Roger Federer story. This was part 2 out of 5, Roger Federer's first Grand Slam title. And make sure you subscribe to my channel and stay tuned so you don't miss out on a single video of mine. So I'll see you in my next video.